Taurus, welcome to your mid-September sort of updated reading. They're only small readings, Taurus. I've had loads of personal issues I've had to deal with, but I wanted to put something for my subscribers, okay? Quite an interesting dynamic here, Taurus. You've got two of your own cards, the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles. So I've got you very, very established in your power, okay? Because the earth element is such a powerful, strong, stable force. And you're very, very connected to it, okay? But you've got this fork in the road card, okay? Now, I actually like this card, but there's maybe some Taurus feel that they're really, really at a big crossroads about the next step in their life. It can be about anything. It might be about a relationship because of the other cards that you pulled, but it might also be about your financial security, that sort of thing, because of the cards that you've got coming up. It's very interesting here. And your outcome is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a really great card, by the way. It's my sweet spot card. Because you know, at times in life, we're trying to make things happen, we're trying to resolve issues. The Six of Cups is that card about achieving balance. It's a card of reconciliation. But it's also the card about riding the wave and getting what you want. But it looks like you're in a bit of an interesting process here, because the card that's your support, the gift, is the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is a really big crossroads card, okay? He's in an archway in this deck, and it's this deck I'm meaning. It's got loads and loads of additional meanings, the Seven of Swords. It's very often connected with trickery, deception, but how I tend to read it in this deck is someone who's at a crossroads in their life, okay? There's an archway and they can't quite decide to walk forward to the future or to go back for the swords that's behind them. So all the sevens speak about being in a little bit of a process. They're quite challenging cards because they're talking about having to put a lot of effort in to push yourself forward, okay? But it's the gift here, Taurus. I really need to know why this is a gift. I won't be a minute. Your challenge is the Four of Discs, okay? So this is an emotional issue. Someone's not revealing their feelings, or you're having to hold yourself back, or someone else's, okay, if you're cross-watching. It's also about, it can be about your security. So you're trying to hold on to the security that you do have. You know, this might only be for one viewer, but sometimes these cards can represent there's been a breakup and you're trying to divide your assets, okay? For anyone going through that, my heart goes out to you. But for other people, there's a holding back energetically, okay? But the gift is, that gift is actually a gift to be stopping and reflecting if you want to go forward or if you want to go backwards, because that's what the fork in the road means. And the Queen of Cups is what's clarifying the Seven of Swords. Oh, Taurus. It's almost this feeling of, and it's funny because I was picking up an emotional issue about going forward and offering your cup. But for some of you, there's been a lot of difficulty, maybe some deception and some trickery in a situation. And you can't quite decide whether to go forward or to keep holding yourself back. Oh my gosh. And that's what fork in the road means, okay? Anyhow, let me look at here, and I can always pull you a couple of extra cards. These are the three energies you're going to be meeting. The first doll, you've got the King of Pentacles and then the Hierophant, and then you get the Six of Cups, okay? So the King of Pentacles is your element. You can probably teach me more about the King of Pentacles than I can teach you. It represents the earth signs, solidity, power, being in your body, being stable and being strong, okay? So my feeling is, Taurus, do not be shaken by any events going on around you. Learn to be in your throne and in your element and stand firm. Because the Hierophant's got a very similar meaning. It's also, with the Hierophant, you could be dealing with, the Hierophant can sometimes represent established systems and having to deal with the establishment, that sort of thing. It's also about our belief systems, because our belief systems dictate our life. And the Seven of Swords can be about that, a bit about that, a bit examining, because Taurus stands for value systems in astrology. So sometimes when we examine what we value and what we love, our life changes accordingly. So maybe you've been asked to examine your thinking. What do you love? What do you want? What are you giving your time to? Is it worth it? I think it's going to be, because the outcome is the Six of Cups. I told you the Six of Cups is about sweet feelings, okay? Everything's blossoming in this card. There's a sharing going on between you and someone else, okay? Because there's more than one person. But there seems to be an examination of what you believe, what you're giving your time to, and ask yourself, Taurus, is it worth it? Am I getting back what I'm putting in? Because when we start to ask the right questions, we get the right solutions. I'm clarifying the Six of Cups with the Star card, okay? And interesting, because I've turned my back in the Towers here. So astrologically, the Star card, in the Tarot, the Star comes after the Tower, okay? So it means after big events in our life, the Star card comes and it brings peace and it brings harmony and it starts to restore our well-being. And it's with the Six of Cups. So this is where you're aiming to. But I think a lot of Taurus have had quite big Tower moments, basically. Actually, I know you have, sorry. For any Taurus to get readings with me, this reading is saying that things are moving to a much more peaceful place in the end of September. But there's a lot of reflection required here, and especially around your value system, Taurus, because what you give your time to is what you harvest, okay? That seems to be what the gift is. And if there's a holding back energy, use the holding back energy to reflect on what you really want from your life. That's how I'd use these cards. Okay, so I'll be back next week I'm going to be back doing regular weekly readings from now on, Taurus, okay? Loads of love, bye.